Okay, well, goals, gratitudes, anything you want to share as we get started here? Yeah, you look like you wanted to say something. You're just trying to collect yourself.
I'm glad I made it out of bed.
I'm glad you made it out of bed
Got
too.
here.
Yeah, Aubrey and I were wondering.
Obviously, I
We were worried
overslept.
sick about it. Yeah. Okay,
I have a gratitude, or I kind of went through as well. So yesterday I got 2 phone calls. Or I had two phone calls to
okay,
2 appointments. It was awesome. One was a physical I've been talking about like the last 2 weeks.
okay.
I was supposed to call him today, but he actually reached out to me. It was kind of cool just because my follow-up, knocked on his door
Yeah,
maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
okay.
He says, we're not thinking about moving. I looked at my notes too, actually, just on Friday or Saturday. I was here on that Saturday. And
To refresh yourself on their story.
yeah, well, I mean, this is, and I looked at the notes and I found the notes that I had previously. It was
Okay.
all the same things that, he talked about before. So it's kind of funny how people have these things that we have
A script.
Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah, they have their scripts.
yeah. So it's almost the exact same thing. And so we set an appointment for today and we're going to see about getting this home in the market. So
Very cool.
yeah. So
Yeah,
getting down to
awesome.
Texas.
That's great. Where are they located? What area?
They're here in Sandy off of
Okay.
Newcastle. So
Cool.
yeah.
Good for you.
So-
That's great. Awesome. Congratulations. Okay. How about you, Mr. Osmond? You got a goal, a gratitude?
Oh, no, I just want to capitalize on that, Aubrey.
Yes, sir.
That's a freaking cool, dude.
No, no.
I used to call Fizzbos every freaking day for 6 years, man. So
Yeah.
if somebody reaches back to you, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, really cool. Okay, Brenda Lee.
I'm always grateful for opportunities.
All
They're out there. You just have to keep your eyes open and be ready.
Okay. All right, I agree. They are there. Even in this market, there are plenty of them, especially when most agents think that there aren't any. So, Galen, Quinn, anything? Going once? Going-
It's Galen. I would just say we've been on vacation this last week or so and had some time to go up to Bear Lake and spend it with our family. And it really is nice and refreshing to get away a little bit and just do something completely different for a couple of days in a row. And then always so grateful to come back and get back to it. So that's what I'm grateful for today.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That's a beautiful place, met with beautiful people. So congratulations. Good for you. Very, very cool. All right. Anybody else?
I'll go.
You got one?
Yeah.
Okay,
grateful
good.
for you.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, I'm
Well,
jazzed up on Mountain Dew right now. Freaking just went to the gym. I trained George and Isaac again. I'm back
You
at
did?
it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Kicking some serious butt. It was great. And
Good.
then now I'm back at it and I'm here with the Pandas team
Yeah,
and your team.
yeah.
Super
Cool.
grateful. Super grateful.
Yeah. Do you know Eric? Have you met Eric before?
I've seen him once, I think.
Okay.
before,
All right.
Yeah.
This
That's all
is
you need. It's just-
this is normal Eric right here. So.
Great.
All right, well, let's get started. So great job on being here. So, the market has obviously shifted. We've seen a lot of changes in terms of stats, in terms of the activity. We've seen also, though, the change in the mindset of the buyers and the sellers. And of course, that change in the statistics, the activity, and the mindset of the buyers and sellers also leads to a change in the mindset of who? Go ahead, admit it, yes,
Yeah.
because you're human and that's going to have an impact. So we know that it is a more challenging market. If you're going to try to do business the way you did, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago in this market, you're not going to survive. You're going to have to bring to the table a different set of activities, a greater commitment to the things, the fundamentals that we need to do. But I think the most important thing, gang, is recognizing this. And I want you to write this down. It is a recognition, but then it has to be a belief. I'm the number one agent for the job of getting the home sold. I'm the number one agent for the job of getting the home sold. Yes.
What is different since I've been?
What is what?
What is different since I've been with my?
In the market?
Is it like
Well, interest rates went up overnight dramatically. We're at about 8%, where a year and a half ago, well, a little over, let's say a year ago, they were about 3.5%. What's that?
Are they more open to agents, I guess, or they work, you said it's harder now, so they're not as open to us. So FISBOs are gonna be harder, or what's?
No, not FISBOs, no. So here's the thing, it's a great question. So the mindset of a seller, knowing that the interest rates have gone up dramatically and that there are fewer buyers on the market and they're seeing that prices have softened without a doubt, right? What's the mindset of a seller at this point? What are the sellers saying?
we'll just wait.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait and see what the market's going to do. We're gonna wait until
Rates go down.
rates come back down and we see more buyers in the marketplace because we know we can get more for a home then. We're seeing that in a lot of conversations. Now, does it mean that that's what they should do?
No,
Right? Does that mean that we should buy off on that story? And of course, the answer is no, we shouldn't, right? What I'm saying, and it's a great question, Eric, there is great opportunity in this market because the mindset of the agent is that, well, I just simply have to wait until the market what?
it's better.
Changes.
Until the market changes, in other words, gets better. And we don't get to dictate when the market changes. We don't have any control over that, but what we do have control over is our what?
Mine.
Our mind, our mindset, our perspective, and the message that we bring to people on a daily basis. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, versus today, a buyer and a seller, did they need a leader more then or more today?
More today.
Why?
There's more fear today, I would say.
Okay.
More uncertainty. So a lot
Okay, would
more-
you agree with that? There's more fear and uncertainty today?
Buyer or seller needs more what today?
Leadership,
Leadership, yes,
true?
hands down.
Okay, and why is that?
Well, I mean, just today with George's message, and I just listened to that on the way here. It was, he talked about how we get this crippling, paralyzing fear that, things are changing, things aren't how they used to be. It's hard for people to kind of wrap their minds around going from 2%, 2.75% to 8%, which I guess media, anything, all these external reasons that people have
Right?
seem to cripple or paralyze us when in fact, we have need.
Yep.
Yes.
Right, if we buy off on it, right?
Yeah.
And we see that, and it goes back to what I said originally, is that we have to believe that we're the number one agent for the job of getting the home sold. Now, are people still dying?
Yes.
Yeah, are they still getting a divorce?
Yes.
Are people still, maturing to the point that they need to downsize?
Yes.
Kids have moved out, the home's too big?
Yes.
How about families have expanded to the point where they do need more space?
Yes.
I think we have this mindset that, well, this is my situation, and so if this is my situation, then it must be everybody else's. We kind of like project that, right? And the truth is that people buy and sell for all sorts of reasons. Yes, go ahead.
Maybe people are seeing more hurdles in front of them than just rates. too.
They are, right? I think that
feel
they
like they're
are.
getting buried by, I don't know, inflation,
Yes.
recession,
Uh-huh.
rates,
Yes.
prices are down. Why would I sell now? I should have sold 2 years ago,
Yep.
all that stuff.
Mhm.
What, more things,
Yep.
and the media is accentuating all of them.
They are accentuating all of them. And see, my point is this. We started with the observation. What did you write down? What was the thing you wrote down?
I'm the number one agent for the job for the job.
I did say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I got you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, say it again.
The number one agent for getting the job done.
Yeah, of getting the job done of buying or selling the home. It doesn't mean, it's either one, doesn't matter. Okay, so my point is this. There's so much uncertainty. There's a belief in the marketplace that maybe I should simply wait. Okay. Our job as a leader is to go out and give people a new perspective, to change their perspective. Great leaders will do what? They will change people's perspective, get them to change their behavior so that that person can ultimately what?
Act or.
Yes, act to get what?
To get a different
Get what
result.
they want.
Get what they want.
Yeah.
That's what leaders do. They get people to the next level. Well, do we know that there is opportunity in today's market?
Yes.
Do you know that for a fact?
For sure.
How do you know that?
People I'm working with, there's definitely opportunities for buyers and sellers to.
Are there? Yeah, go ahead.
Christopher Jensen's presentation on July 5th.
Was a great presentation.
It was. And the millennials are beginning to want a home really bad.
The largest population since the baby boomers, right?
Mhm.
And a huge percentage of those people don't have homes. But we also know just real time right now, are people listing their homes?
Yes.
Are people buying homes?
Definitely.
So we know there's plenty of opportunity out there. There will be literally thousands and thousands of homes that will be listed and sold along the Wasatch Front. Now, let's imagine that there are 10,000 homes that are listed and sold along the Wasatch Front over the course of a year. How many transactions is that? It's not a trick question.
20,000.
20,000.
20,000. Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah.
So there are 20,000 opportunities, let's say. 20,000. How many opportunities are you looking for? How many do you need? Did you set a goal this year of doing 20,000 transactions?
No.
Right? The point is, there's plenty of opportunity out there. It's all a matter of perspective. It's why I started out with, I am the best agent for the job of getting the home sold, or I'm the best agent for the job of finding them a home. We have to, first of all, start with that. In this market, though, gang, it's really important that we have the ability to separate ourselves from the competition. And right now, the competition believes what? What do they believe? It's really important. What do they believe?
The competition.
Yeah, what does your competition believe?
That now's a bad time.
That's the answer, Quinn, right there. Competition believes that now is a bad time. And so, like the buyer and seller who says, I'm going to wait, the agent says, well, I guess I'm just going to have to what? I'm going to have to wait too. That's baloney. Because we know this, people are dying, they're getting a divorce, they're getting married, they're downsizing, they're upsizing, they're getting a job promotion, they're getting fired. There are all sorts of reasons to why, in terms of life events, that cause people to actually buy and sell real estate. That is going to continue. I remember, Greg, when I was a kid, you would remember this, in the early 80s, interest rates were 18 and 19%. I remember this very clearly because my uncle was a builder, a contractor. And so I would be over at his house playing with my cousins and hear, you know, his wife, my aunt, talking about their financial situation, and it was not good, right? And eventually he went bankrupt from the whole thing. But I know this, that during that time, that homes were still being built and people were still buying and selling homes. Now, I say, well, John,
A little bit creative.
you have to be very creative, but aren't we finding that we have to do that right now? It's certainly, in terms of putting the transaction together right now, it's different today than it was 18 months ago. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes. So I go to this. If you believe that you're the number one agent for the job of getting the home sold or finding them a home, how do you share that with people? How do people know that? How is it that you're going to get an opportunity? Because the most difficult thing, what do you believe the most difficult thing is in a transaction, whether it's a buyer or seller? What is the single most difficult thing? What's that? Of course, yeah. The most difficult thing, what is it? Anyone?
The truth.
I think just getting them to act, or getting them to start.
What does that mean? If you're on the
I guess,
right
yeah, that's
track,
pretty
what
big.
is it?
Focus on the right things.
Leadership with the mindset.
Well, for me, I mean, like getting them to
It's
be okay with, you know, either paying more or a little less right now.
It is not the most difficult thing. It's a good answer, but it's not the most difficult thing.
Pulling the trigger, writing a contract for the first time and putting it on the market in a week.
That's a great answer, but that's not the most difficult thing.
What's the most difficult thing?
Come on, think about this.
I'm just gonna.
What is it you guys try to do every single day?
There's one.
Huh?
Prospect, talk to people.
Okay, but what do you do? What are you trying to accomplish, gang? What are you doing?
Discipline.
Why do you prospect?
Because I want to get an appointment.
Right, so that they what?
Sign a contract.
Right, in other words, so that they ultimately what?
Close.
Choose.
I'll choose me.
Choose you.
Okay.
That is the most difficult part. Everything else is easy. It really is. It's easy. I want you to think about that. Do you not know how to sell a home?
Do I not know how?
Yeah, you know
I know
how,
how to sell.
right?
Yeah.
I was
I was just kind of still early in the morning.
You know how to sell a home, right? You know how. The most difficult part of having a client is actually getting one. Yes or yes? Think about that. I'm not being negative, but the truth is that if it were easy, you would have more.
20,000.
Yeah, you would have more. So we know the most difficult part of the process is actually getting the client. It's not how to sell a home. Greg, you're not perplexed on how to sell a home in this market or in any market.
Probably not.
You're not. Or how to get a home, how to find a home. You know how to do that. The issue is, how do you separate yourself from the competition so that they choose you? And in this market, how do you convince people that now is the right time to do it versus any other time?
Well, first step might be showing up at their door.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about this.
Being present.
Yes, I agree. So what I want to do is I want to spend just a few minutes doing this and kind of creating a reasonable reasons why they should choose you versus the competition. Because I think the challenge is that in today's market, number one, first of all, we have to believe that people are still what? Buying and selling, right? And number two, that we're the best agent in the market based on what's going on for them to choose in order to make that happen. We have to have those two beliefs. See, if we don't believe that people are still buying and selling, and if we don't believe that we're the right agent, how well are things going to turn out? Say not well at all.
Not well at all.
They're not. And I get it's easy with everything that's going on to buy off on this idea because there's so much chatter going on about interest rates and inventories and confusion and the lack of confidence in the marketplace and people not knowing when interest rates are going to change. And I got to have interest rates change because if they don't, it's going to persist. And this market is so much different than it used to be. And I want it to go back to normal. Gang, what we see right now, historically, this is more normal than what you went through the last 2 or 3 years prior to the rate change. I can tell you that after 30 years. So we can't wait for those things to change. We've got to bring to the table a mindset that number one, what?
I'm the right agent.
I am the right agent for the job of getting the home sold or helping them buy a home. And number two,
People are buying and selling.
people are buying and selling real estate. You have to buy up on those two ideas because they ultimately, if you don't believe the second point, then what are you doing in the business? Go get another job and wait until the interest rates change. Number one, but the first statement of I'm the right agent for the job of getting the home sold, or I'm the number one agent for the job of getting the home sold. If you aren't, then who is? See, if you're going to knock on doors and you're going to prospect and you don't believe that, then what you should do is bring cards of your competition and hand those out. Right?
Fiduciary duty.
There you go, right? Protect their best interests. John, what's this all about? My point is this, gang. There is so much opportunity out there in today's marketplace, especially when the vast majority of agents say, number one, I'm going to wait till the rates change because obviously people aren't buying and selling homes and they don't believe in themselves. Because if they did, they wouldn't hold that first perspective. Justin Udy's business is up dramatically this year. Because Justin Udy believes in himself. It's up 30, 40%. And he believes that people are still buying and selling real estate. And so he believes those things. He therefore acts in accordance with those things. And therefore he gets those what?
Things.
He gets those things. So why should the competition choose you? I mean, why should the buyers and sellers choose you versus the competition? So let's just very quickly come up with some ideas. What are some ideas, reasons why the buyers and sellers should choose you versus the competition?
Exposure.
Okay, so exposure. Meaning that your company is going to give greater exposure, or you're getting greater exposure than the competition?
They
Okay.
see us.
Okay, they see us.
Justin, or do they see us?
Okay, so they see us. In other words, we become visible to them. In other words, how do we do that? Yeah, we prospect.
Connection.
Okay. What does that mean, Eric? What do you mean by connection?
We connect with them, we're more attractive than the other competition to them because we are more relatable.
Okay, so we're more relatable. So what does that mean?
Connection, relationship, we're more sexy.
Okay, how do we do that? We're more sexy.
Build more. I mean,
Okay, yeah, okay, yes.
Charming skills.
Okay, we know how to build rapport. Okay,
Yeah,
rapport leads to what? Like, trust, and respect. Ultimately, what are we trying to do though for people in any relationship? We're trying to create a sense of what?
urgency.
Or sense of like
Value.
Safety.
Yeah.
Yes, when two things, value and safety.
I was close.
But rapport, ultimately safety, right? When we have a connection with somebody, we feel more safe. Therefore, we're willing to be more authentic. We open up, right? What else? So prospecting, visibility, safety. What else? Why should they choose us versus the competition?
Leadership, guidance.
Okay, leadership, guidance.
Crap, it's a family, know what to do.
Okay, what else?
inconsistency.
Okay, I like that. Consistency.
Reliable, yeah, with that, reliability.
Consistency. Consistency, another word we could use, so you say reliable. Okay, another word for that would be what? How about Eric got up this morning, as he does every morning or most mornings, and he worked out. When
Discipline.
somebody does that consistently, we call them what? Discipline. Okay, so discipline. Okay, what else?
Value.
Okay,
Customer service and communication.
okay,
Like that.
so customer service. I heard you, Greg, but the lady goes first. Communication.
Amen.
Greg, you say it again, you said.
Value, please.
Yeah. Okay, value. And how do we offer value? What's the value?
We bring them something that they perceive as being useful when we first talk to them.
Okay, and what is that? Give me something tangible, at least that I can point to.
Market information,
Okay,
of attitude to help them.
okay, so service attitude,
Because I believe they choose us in the first few seconds
market knowledge.
or not.
Okay, what else? How about the
John?
ability? Yeah.
John, about just working for the number 1 or 2 Century 21 office in the world and being trained and coached by that company.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do, excuse me, training,
Uh-huh.
coaching with number 1 office in the world. I love that one. That was great. These are all great. Okay, what else? How about your ability to negotiate? You're a negotiator. Are you a negotiator? Do you consider yourself a negotiator? You're very good at it?
I don't know, am I? Negotiating.
What else?
Consultant advice.
Okay, so you consult and advise.
Do we say price on this? Could we bring in a financial thing? Because
Price? Yes. So what is it about price? Why should I choose you versus the competition if I'm a seller or a buyer as it relates to price? What could you say? What would you do?
Start asking questions.
Okay, so price, if it's a seller, of course, we have a pricing what?
conflict.
Strategy.
We have a pricing strategy.
I think you touched on this a lot here early this year, along with price, commission.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are a lot of agents or even companies out there that discount their commission
Yep.
and helping people, you know, and it's, I mean, it's easy to say, hey, I'll do it for 4 or 3 or 2%.
Right.
Whereas, you know, we're offering all these things to say, hey, I'd be concerned about someone who's willing to discount their commission. You know, how's that gonna look for you, for them fighting for you? So finding that you're gonna fight for them and that, you know, you are worth what you're getting or asking for.
Yeah. In other words, we believe in value. See, Aubrey, I believe in value. I believe in the value of your home. And I believe in the value that I offer. And because of that, we don't engage in the discount process. Because if I can't, in your mind, justify my commission, and I am just willing to give up my commission, how strong am I going to be in protecting your equity in your home?
Very strong.
Right? So you're looking for an agent who actually believes in value and doesn't believe that value is discount, right?
Yes.
That's important to you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I would address it. That's a great point. We could list other things here. You've got, of course, how about your personal stats? You say, well, my personal stats aren't that good. Well, then you can do company stats, right? Company stats. Okay, so stats being company, being personal. Anything else?
Our appearance.
Okay, our appearance, the way we present ourselves, appearance.
Car tires and shoes, right?
Ah, yeah. So true. Yes, one of the quickest ways to determine how successful somebody is not necessarily to look at their bank account, because most people won't show you how much they've got in their bank account, but to look at what?
Car tires and
Car
shoes.
tires and their shoes, you know? Are the shoes clean, nice, new? And the same holds true with their car tires, right? If you want to know if somebody's organized and things are going relatively well in their life, take a look at the interior of their car. It's a really good indication as to whether their house, what's that?
Scary.
It is scary. I saw one the other day that you couldn't fit a piece of paper in it. There was so much stuff stuffed in that car, and I'm not kidding. It was crazy.
But not
Right.
the car itself, but the interior of the car.
What's that?
So the interior more than the outside.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, there are times you'll see me pull in here and it's a little bit dirty because I just got done four-wheeling to get a chance to stop by the car wash. But as a general statement, I don't like pulling into this parking lot with a dirty car. Because I'm so conscious of what Greg just said, of tires and,
Quick quack goes a long way.
I've got the $32 monthly deal with them. So, yeah. Okay, we could come up with other things here. Let me just we're going to sum this up and give you just an opportunity to work on something here. Who sells the most hamburgers in the world?
McDonald's.
Right. Who makes the best hamburger in the world?
Not McDonald's.
Not McDonald's. Isn't that interesting? It's really interesting. And I wrote this down. Turn. I believe that I am the best agent for the job of helping them buy a home or sell a home. And you might say, well, wait a minute. I mean, Justin Udy sells a lot more homes than I do. And Dave Parker sells a lot more homes than I do. Well,
Doesn't mean it-
McDonald's sells a lot more hamburgers. than Five Guys does, but I can tell you hands down, as far as I'm concerned, Five Guys is a much better burger. I just had this weekend a fantastic burger at Hires with a frosty mug root beer
Ugh.
and fries and fry sauce. And I can tell you, the McDonald's beats the pants off in terms of the number of burgers sold. But that burger that I had this weekend was so much better than McDonald's hamburger. In fact, my son and I were driving by McDonald's and he did the fake like that. Because we were talking about the place that has the best burger and, you know, he was mocking McDonald's because they sell a lot of burgers, but they don't sell the best burger. I rarely find anybody who says, oh yeah, McDonald's, that is the best burger.
Thinking about what you eat board, McDonald's meets a lot of those.
They do. They do.
It's, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
you walk in, it's clean, your kids can play there,
Mhm.
you can sit there and talk with somebody for a half hour if you want.
Yeah.
It's the environment.
Well, there's McDonald's U, right? They train and they coach their employees, right? There's so much about this that works in the corporate world because they're in what? They're in business, and these are like business principles. Yes.
And also, I mean, this is a funny statistic, I just, learned a while back, but, the largest tire manufacturer in the world is Lego. But I'm not going there and get my tires changed.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because they have, Legos, they have little tires.
Yeah, the tires on
Yeah.
the little things
Technically,
that you
yeah.
put together.
Have the most tires.
That is so
Most
interesting.
tires, that's,
Yeah.
but you're not going
It's
there.
gonna go there.
Exactly,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, same principle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what I want you to do is, whether they ask it or not, you need an answer to this because they're thinking it. Why should I choose you for the job of helping me buy a home or sell a home in today's marketplace? And if you don't know that answer, then you don't deserve the business. I want you to think about that. If you can't answer that question compellingly, you don't deserve the business. Because there's so much uncertainty in today's marketplace. People are afraid. They're not certain that now is the right time, or if they have to do it, they are afraid of the process. They're afraid of making a mistake. They're afraid that they're going to sell their home for less than what they could a year ago. They're afraid that they are going to overpay for a home. They're afraid that they're going to pay too much in interest. They're afraid. And if you don't believe that you're the best agent to help them navigate that, then you don't deserve the transaction. Does that make sense? So we have to have some compelling answer as to why we're the best agent for the job.
How about one of these points might be keeping them out of the mud and keeping focus on what they want
Okay.
versus all the problems today.
Okay, and I like that. I'm going to sum that up with, I'm a leader. It's leadership. Leadership, we allow people to remain what? Focused.
As you and George have taught for years, get them to focus on the right things.
Right. Focus on the right things. Yes. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, 30 years,
Less than a year.
less than a year,
14.
14 years.
Oh, man. Yeah, 10.
10 years, right? It doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, Brenda Lee. The key is identifying the things that from your own perspective, your own story that you can share with people to separate yourself from the competition. See, if I'm brand new in the business, I can't say I've been in the business for 30 years. I can't say that. So then I got to select the things that share my story and why they should choose me versus the competition. So do we know what those things are? So see, if I were brand new in the business, so to speak, I would look at it and say, well, wait a minute. I'm part of a company, to Galen's point, that is the #1 office in the world, and they train and coach me on a daily basis. The other reason that they should choose to work with me is because I prospect daily. I knock on doors. See, you think that the sellers or the buyers assume that that's what all agents do. And therefore, then I forget to mention that that's what I do. But you know that the average agent doesn't what?
Prospect.
They don't prospect. They what? They
Hope the business comes to them.
wait. They golf. Yeah, they golf. Okay, what else? What else could you, an agent who's in the business less than a year, say? I'm part of the #1 office in the world that trains and coaches me, and that's how we got to be #1. I prospect on a daily basis.
The market knowledge, I study the market every day.
Okay, so where is that? Do we write? Oh, right there. Market knowledge.
After the month of attention you can give them, also adds a lot of value.
Okay,
When I first started, that's what got me a lot.
and I agree, and I would say customer service.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your parents, I think, you know.
Okay, yes,
that plays
but
a
I'm
part.
trying to help you craft one, because
Oh.
we're gonna do a soundbite here. We're
Okay.
gonna do it. Earn the right, separate myself from the competition statement.
Okay.
What else? Is there anything?
Consultant advice,
How-
I guess that kind of goes into.
Yeah, how about this? How about consistency, reliability,
Yeah.
discipline?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we got 4 things there. I'm not necessarily going to cover all 4. What if I did this? What if we did #1 office and prospect and consistency? We did those 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what, too, about a month ago, Russ taught that. That he had a past, when a commission objection came up. He had a negotiation story in his hip pocket
Yeah.
that he could bring out.
Yes.
Where commission was worth it and he saved his clients thousands of dollars.
Yes. Right.
So having a negotiation story ready in your pocket.
Right. In other words, have a soundbite specific to the particular point,
Yeah,
right? To back up or to reinforce that particular point.
yeah, is it worth them paying for us?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Aubrey, you're saying you're the fact that you're part of the #1 office in the world, they train and coach you, you prospect consistently, right? You show up in the office consistently, participate in the coaching and the training. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, those are your things.
Okay.
Okay, so Aubrey, why should we choose to work with you versus the competition?
So John, that's a great question, and to answer your question, I was gonna ask you a question first, but
That's all right.
that's a great question. So the thing that I do that separates me from other agents is that I am consistently in the office every day. I prospect, that's always, we met each other, I knocked on your door.
Right, that's right. I do remember
But
that.
then I'm one office, central known office in the world, and I work with them. I work with
Yep,
top producing agents,
Okay.
brokers.
okay, keep going.
And when you choose me, you'll know that you're working with someone who works in this market every day.
Uh-huh.
I know everyone, your neighbor, everyone in your neighborhood, and you'll be getting that.
Okay.
The end.
The end.
Yeah.
All right, give me a round of applause. All right. What did he do well? There was something he did in the beginning.
It's charming with it. Very charming.
He had an answer.
Okay, he had an answer, yes, which was great. You actually did it better the first time than you did the second time.
Okay.
You restarted, but what you did that I like is that you started with some energy. You smiled and you said, "I'm excited you brought that up," or "I'm excited you asked that question." It's really important that if somebody's going to ask us a question or give us an objection, that we respond with energy and enthusiasm, that we're excited about that rather than demonstrating that we're not excited about it or nervous about answering the question. Because ultimately they're looking for a what?
Leader.
And leaders are what? Yes, leaders are what? Confident. One of the best ways to separate yourself from the competition is to have confidence. And the fact that you responded by smiling and saying, "I'm excited you asked me that question," then allows them to relax a bit. Okay, he's not nervous by this question, which is the right attitude to have when it comes to justifying why they should choose to work with you versus the competition. Okay, what else? Is there anything else you did well? I wrote it down here.
Yeah, future pacing.
You did. Do you remember what point you future paced?
So when I talked about when I said when,
Yes. When? Yeah, really cool. That's really good. One thing that was missing within the conversation that I want to make certain we did was perspective. So it's really important that if we tell somebody that I prospect, for example, well, that doesn't mean anything if I don't know, as the seller, I don't know what.
that means, or what that
Exactly.
looks
I don't know what that really means practically, and I don't know what value there is in that
like. No,
relative to the what,
my needs.
relative to the, because it's about separating ourselves from the what?
Oh, the competition.
The competition.
Yeah, everybody prospects, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I prospect. Well, and the seller's mind, well, everybody does that.
Yeah.
They don't know that. Right. So you would change that by saying, it's so interesting, John. You might think that when you list your home with an agent, that automatically they're going to prospect. And prospecting meaning that they'll pick up the phone or knock on doors to try to find buyers for your home. And the truth is they don't. Most agents use the 3P process. Do you know what that is?
They put up, oh, no.
Yeah, you say,
I don't
you say, no, I don't know. Well, it's interesting. What they do is they put up a sign, they put your home on the MLS, and then they pray. And then they just simply wait. Right. Well, I don't do that. I mean, I will put your home on the MLS. I will put up a sign, and I'm okay with praying as well, but I don't stop there. I add a fourth P. It's called prospect. I make certain that every day I prospect. In other words, I go out and I work every day to find buyers and sellers to match them up to get a home sold. It's so interesting. That is why my office is the #1 office in the world for Century 21, because they train and coach us to go out and match buyers and sellers together. And especially in today's market, because you see what's happening in today's market, right?
Yes, sir.
Interest rates up, not as many buyers in the marketplace, sellers a little bit uncertain. It's really important that I, as a great leader, go out and find those buyers and bring them to your home so that we can actually get it sold in today's market. Now, obviously, you want an agent who's going to be proactive and go out and find the buyer as opposed to wait, right?
Yes, sir.
And so that's the reason you would want to choose me versus the competition. So are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Great. Now you notice the difference there. I said basically the same things you said, but I gave them perspective. It's really important that I give them perspective. If I told you, the guy's worth a lot of money. Well, what does a lot of money mean to you?
Well, I don't know, $1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah.
And see, to me, that's not a lot of money. Now, if you said to me, a guy's worth a lot of money, first thing that comes to mind is that he's probably worth $50 to $100 million. That's a lot of money to me. It's all a matter of what? Perspective. So we have to give people perspective. See, if I told you, well, the average price of a home today is what?
$650.
It's $650. If I told you that the average price of a home today is $650, well, that's some information, but it's not enough information. If I said the average price of a home today is $650, but a year ago, the average price was what?
400 or
800.
$800.
Oh,
With extra money.
Okay, $800. So $120,000 higher. I gave them perspective, so that information was more what?
valuable.
More valuable.
Yeah.
Right? When we give people perspective, the information we give them is more valuable. And the two things we're trying to do in a business relationship is build what? Where was it here?
Rapport.
Yeah, wherever it
Right
is.
below the.
Oh, there. We're trying to build rapport, and as Quinn said, we're trying to build value. Well, when we give them perspective on who we are and why they should choose us versus the competition, we allow them, therefore, to be more comfortable and more confident in their decision to work with us. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir.
So it doesn't matter what your answers are here, but what I'm going to say to you is this: choose the things that make most sense for you based upon your circumstances, whether you're brand new in the business or 30 years in the business, and own those things and share those things, giving them perspective on why they should choose you versus the competition. Because yes, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. And yes, interest rates are higher. And yes, there's less inventory. And yes, home prices have softened, but that does not mean that homes aren't what?
So
Yes. And there's somebody out there who's the best agent for the job of getting the home sold. And it might as well be who?
me.
Yes, you. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir.
But you have to have the ability to separate yourself from the competition. You have to have this perspective. You have to have a message as a leader that you take out in the marketplace. Because you're either going to buy off on the message that's out there that you're going to have to wait until the market changes because interest rates are going to have to go down. And then you can go back out and start to help people buy and sell real estate. Or you can be the leader that you are, share a message, change perspective, get people to follow you and knock it out of the park. So which one are you going to choose?
The latter.
I really liked that both of you validated them for even asking the question.
Yeah,
In other words,
so
so
important.
relevant to
It
the
is.
now.
It is. Yeah, we need to recognize people. The number one human need is what?
Acceptance.
Yeah, acceptance, recognition, acknowledgement. Yeah. Okay, any thoughts or questions? Anybody online, on Zoom, any thoughts or questions? Yes, yeah. Brenda Lee, Kelly, Tim, Nick, anyone?
This is just a great reminder because we get lackadaisical. And just those of us maybe that have been in the business a little longer and think, oh, we know all this, but it's just always a good constant reminder to step up our game. So thank you.
Of course, you're very welcome. Okay, all right, well, let's close this out. Grab our affirmations.